It all started with a mouse, and his name was Mickey, the face of the Walt Disney Company, and one of the most famous icons of the animation industry. This kind-hearted but flawed character has brought endless memories to people of all ages. To those who first witnessed the mouse back in the black and white era when he was first created in 1928, seeing him make his debut in color and eventually film with Fantasia, and even take on video games alongside Final Fantasy characters. But if a character goes on for almost 100 years, then of course he's going to come across a bump on the road. A rather grotesque one at that. That's why we're going over 5 creepy things from Mickey Mouse. Note, we're not going over creepypastas, since we just did a list on them with my friend Lazy Creepypasta. And we're not going over fan-made content. We're only going over content and events made and or caused by the Walt Disney Company. With that being said, please enjoy. Runaway Brain. Runaway Brain is a newer Mickey Mouse short that premiered in 1995. It's about Mickey forgetting about his anniversary with his girlfriend Minnie Mouse. However, he tries to convince her that he had it planned all along with a trip to mini golf. But Minnie mistakes it for an expensive trip to Hawaii. The mouse is now given an opportunity to set things right, and he needs to figure out how to get the money for the trip. Luckily, he finds an ad for a one-time job that's paying the exact amount that he needs. He meets Dr. Frankenoli for the job, but it turns out that the job is a bit more risky than he originally thought. Dr. Frankenoli wants to experiment with Mickey by transferring his brain over to his monstrous creation named Julius. The experiment succeeds, but Dr. Frankenoli does not survive. Mickey tries to reason with the monster that's inside his body, but only gets him interested in Minnie. A chase sequence between the two for Minnie begins, and eventually they both get their bodies back, as Julius falls off a giant tower. But it's okay, Mickey and Minnie at least get to go to Hawaii. Mickey and the Beanstalk. Mickey and the Beanstalk puts Mickey and his 2 pals, Donald and Goofy, in a retelling of the story Jack and the Beanstalk. We already know how the story goes, so there's no need for me to explain it. What I will go over, however, is one particular scene that has more to do with Donald than Mickey. Mickey, Donald, and Goofy barely have enough food to survive to the point where they have to ration every bit that they've got. Donald, however, being his usual self, is becoming angry and impatient with the situation presented. He goes ballistic and attempts to eat dishes and silverware, but Mickey and Goofy were able to stop and calm him down. At least until he sees an axe, and attempts to kill their milking cow for food. Many people will agree that this particular scene doesn't represent the duck too well. Early Mickey Mouse mascots. These mascot suits of Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Goofy, Pluto, and of course, Mickey walk around the famous parks to greet guests and take pictures. But these mascot suits weren't always so welcoming, as this was one of the earliest designs for the Disney mascots. A humanoid Mickey wearing his normal attire, being his shorts, gloves, and big shoes, which could easily give off an uneasy feeling. Not only that, but the faces were more based on the black and white cartoons. They had more glossy eyes and had some splits in some places. But these aren't even the worst. In the 1960s, they attempted to have bigger clothes and bigger heads. Granted, these don't look too bad, but the sheer size of the heads alone can make anyone intimidated, especially younger visitors. But let's go back even further to the very first designs for the mascots back in 1934. And no, these are not psychotic killers in a Disney cult. These were actual Disney suits and masks used during the black and white era. The center of the face seems to be pointed out a bit further, giving sort of a fish-eyed appearance. But hey, at least we got the mascot suits that we know now. Suicidal Mickey. No. I'm not going over the Suicide Mouse creepypasta. I already said I wouldn't be going over creepypastas for this list. And sure, there was an urban legend about a supposed short called Mickey Goes to Hell, which was the inspiration for the Suicide Mouse creepypasta. But remember, that's just an urban legend, and I want to go over facts for this video. And fact is, pal, Mickey was at one point suicidal. In the official Mickey Mouse comics made back in the 1930s, there was once a bit where Mickey thought Minnie was cheating on him. Instead of confronting her about it, he attempts to end his own life with a shotgun, but fails miserably. Most people already know about the shotgun scene, as other YouTubers have mentioned it before, but most people don't know that Mickey had other attempts, including jumping off a bridge and even hanging himself from a tree. However, a bunch of squirrels convince him to stay and live his life. Mickey Mouse banned. It's no secret that there are a lot of banned cartoons out there, some for racism, betraying another country, or supposedly promoting an inappropriate topic. Mickey has his own fair share of banned cartoons as well. One good example is The Shindig, which was banned in the state of Ohio because Clarabelle Cow's udders were seen, and also because she was reading a book called 3 Weeks, which was written by British screenwriter and author Eleanor Glyn. The book was considered obscene and was banned in Canada in 1907. Another short that was banned was called The Barnyard Battle in 1929. It depicts Mickey fighting against German World War I soldiers. Around this time, Adolf Hitler banned Mickey Mouse in Nazi Germany, calling him an enemy. Which is interesting because there's some evidence to say that Hitler was a fan of Mickey Mouse. In 1935, Mickey Mouse shorts were banned in Romania due to concerns of kids being scared of a walking mouse. In 1954, East Germany banned the already mentioned Mickey Mouse comic strips, claiming that he was an anti-red rebel. I would go over more examples, but that could be a list of its own. The early days were definitely hard for the mouse, but eventually he would become a historical icon for the world to love for years to come.